Yo, what's going on guys, and welcome to the second part of the video where I'm explaining every endgame boss ability in Torchlight Infinite. In the last video I was talking about overall just boss mechanics, how to encounter them and so on, and I explained mechanics of the first three bosses, so the one in Boiling Lava, Glacier Abyss and Steelforge. In this video I'm gonna talk about the boss in Voidlands, Thunderways and then the Traveler. So let's start with the Voidlands. So this boss is a lightning damage type, and it is actually pretty tricky to avoid all of his abilities. I can definitely tell you, before I had a good DPS, I actually was dying to this boss quite a lot. So the way this boss works is he's gonna spawn these lightning orbs around him, and they are just gonna move and further, and then they also from time to time just deal damage in between. And you see I already died, and I died to the second ability, which I'm gonna explain in a second. And here you can see I did suffer in total 6,000 damage, and half of it was physical and half of it was lightning. So you definitely want to have a lot of physical damage reduction and lightning damage reduction when you're doing this fight. So let me resurrect and go back. So again, you want to avoid these lightning orbs, just try to not stay in melee range of him, and after some time, now you can move into melee and you're gonna be mostly safe in here. Unless he's gonna do his second ability, which is shooting the lightning ball in front of you, which he did right now, and he killed me with it. So you still have to watch out for these balls. But this boss doesn't have that many abilities. These were already half of his abilities. I actually believe he's not even increasing in difficulty the lower his life is. So this is basically half of the abilities. Now the second half is the lightnings that he's gonna shoot from the sky. So here you can see this lightning from time to time is just gonna spawn on top of you, and then it's gonna deal the damage on the ground. So basically you just want to always move. Just never stand still, because he just constantly spawns them, and you barely actually can see them, so sometimes you'll just not see them and just randomly die, and they straight up just one-shot you. They deal around 6,000 damage, and this is actually a thing that I died to first time I died in here. So to use his last ability, I actually believe I have to damage him a bit, so let's do that right now. And he's gonna use basically the same beams, but he's just gonna use them like everywhere in a sequences, and it's gonna be very hard to avoid them. So let's try to damage him a bit more, and now he should start using it. So here you can see you just have to move in a pattern and just try to avoid them. But there are actually like few safe spots where you can just stand and pretty much always just survive all of them. So I'm gonna try to show it to you now. And the safe spots depend on his positioning, because he's actually using these beams in a circle around him. So when he's more towards the top of the arena, you can just move to the bottom. And here you can see there are never gonna be any beams in here, unless this beam, which is the beam that just follows you. So you still have to like move to the left, right, left, right. And sometimes boss is a little bit more towards the bottom, then you have to move towards the top. Let me try to show it again, and this time don't die. So now he moved a bit towards the bottom, so I'm gonna try to stand towards the top. Now here you can see there are no beams in here, unless there are the beams that follow you. So I'm just gonna move left, right, and I'm never gonna die to them. So if you have low DPS, now you should try to deal as much damage as possible to him. Always move around to avoid the lightning things, also to avoid the lightning orbs that he should just start spawning. And I guess with lower life he just spawns more of them. And then when he uses this ability, just move left, right, somewhere in the safe spot. And that's basically the whole fight. And again, if the boss would be a bit more to the top, you would just do the same thing, but somewhere around here. And that's the whole fight. And to be honest, this is actually, my opinion, the hardest fight, or second hardest fight if you have low DPS, because of how much these lightnings damage they deal and how hard it is to avoid them. But if you try to follow the guide and just move to the safe spots, it shouldn't be too hard. It is just gonna be a very long fight because you're gonna have to hide from time to time. Now you can see I already killed 4 of the Watchers, so I can encounter Traveler. But first I actually want to show you the last remaining Watcher, which is the one in Thunder Wastes. And in my opinion, this one is the hardest one. It's gonna be pretty hard to explain all of his mechanics because I'm probably gonna be dying if I'm gonna not focusing on just killing him super fast before he just kills me. So let me try to explain everything. So let me actually explain the fight before it starts. Basically the way it works, he's gonna be summoning minions during his entire fight, and these minions are just gonna copy his abilities. So he's gonna at the beginning just charge around and shoot lightning projectiles in front of him, and these clones are basically gonna do the same. But these clones you actually can damage, and when they reach low life, then they're gonna just basically be frozen and they're gonna stop using abilities. So let me show it right now, but they are actually not gonna die. So you can see it here. They're not gonna do anything, but they are still there, which basically means if I'm playing minions, my DPS is gonna be very low because my minions from time to time are gonna be damaging him instead of the boss. So this is why this fight is actually pretty hard for me. On top of that, now when the arena zoomed out, he didn't really do anything, but once he actually reaches a lower amount of life, he's gonna start doing some stuff. So let me do that right now. Hopefully I don't damage him too much. So now he spawned these lightning things, and these lightning lines deal a ton of damage. You want to avoid them by any means necessary. You just want to 100% focus on these things. Also, he's gonna summon these clones, and they are gonna shoot projectiles, and you just want to stand in the corner when he is doing this. So in the beginning, you just want to run around, kill these clones, avoid the charges and lightning projectiles, and focus 100% on avoiding the lights. And also when boss teleports to the middle, he's gonna destroy all of the clones and he's gonna be immune for a little bit. So now he is immune and he summons the lines. Just want to focus on avoiding them. Okay, so if I would get hit by one of them, I probably would just die. Sometimes I think I can survive one of them, but definitely not two. And here you can see this clone also was doing some kind of frontal in front of him. So now let me try to reach a lower amount of life. Here you also can see these clones shoot projectiles. So he straight up just summons some clones from time to time and they are doing abilities. So now again, there are gonna be projectiles, just try to avoid them. And now there are gonna be some lightnings. Okay, I got hit by one. And avoided everything else. So now he's gonna summon even more lines. So here you can see they are kind of in this shape. I should have standed somewhere around here. That's how you want to avoid them. But also he summoned 4 obelisks in 4 spots during the arena. And now you can see I did not kill them. You actually can kill these obelisks. But if you don't kill them, 2 of them are gonna summon bigger minions. So here you can see there is this one and this one. Actually, there is a third one. So actually, I'm not sure how many of them, because sometimes I see only 3, sometimes 2. So yeah, but the main thing I know is that you actually can damage them, and if you kill them, minions are not gonna spawn. So let's wait for this ability again. And I'm gonna show you basically how I am dealing with that phase when the obelisks happened. Hopefully I'm not gonna kill him too fast. Okay, he's probably gonna use this ability. Okay, so lightnings. Now I'm just trying to avoid them. But still no. Okay, so now I'm just gonna stand here. Now lightnings are happening. Now I'm trying to kill the obelisks. I killed 2 of them. And there is no minions. So This time these two that would summon minions were killed by me. And that's basically the whole fight. But I can definitely tell you, you have to just 100% focus on avoiding these lines and also on the circles. And especially the hardest part is when there are these 4 circles, and sometimes he's gonna do the ability where he just summons a ton of these lines from the clones, and then he's gonna do the second ability that also summons line, which is the one where they all overlap in the middle, which is only happening during that moment when he summons these 4 obelisks. So let me actually wait one more time just to show you once again what I'm doing during that moment. It should happen now, maybe. Gonna summon the lightnings, so I'm avoiding them once, second time, and I died. And now it happens third time. Oh, and also this got stuck. And now hopefully I'm gonna kill these, and I wasn't able to, so now he summoned them. But I can just kill the boss now. So yeah, you can definitely see that towards the end this fight gets very chaotic with so many of these lightnings just happening everywhere. Also at the same time you have to focus on trying to kill the obelisks, and also when you are playing a minion build, a lot of your damage is gonna get splitted because your minions are gonna try to kill boss minions, so you're not gonna 100% deal damage just to a boss. And now there is only one fight remaining, which is the Traveler. So just like I said, these bosses deal physical and one type of damage. So for example, this one deals fire. Traveler actually deals every single type of damage. So some of his abilities deal partially physical, partially lightning damage. Some of them deal partially physical and all of the other elemental damage. And some of them actually also deal erosion damage. So when you are fighting a Realm Lord, you actually need every type of defense. So armor, lightning, fire, cold, and erosion resists. So let me actually start this fight. And for this fight, the biggest difficulty of this fight is that the arena is actually pretty small. Here you can see the size of the arena, and the lower HP of this boss is, he's gonna reach second and third phase, and in these phases he's just gonna spawn more and more stuff. And the hardest thing is that during the third phase there's gonna be just so many things everywhere on the ground, and the arena is very small. It's just very, very hard to avoid everything. So let's start the fight. At the beginning there is a small intermission. Just have to wait. And the first phase is actually super easy. You don't even need that much damage. You're just gonna go through it. So here you can see just his melee damage, and I believe his melee damage is actually dealing every type of damage. And here you can see the projectors. So outside of the arena are these portals, and these portals from time to time they just shoot these projectors. So I'm just gonna wait in here until it shoots one of them. Actually, no, it's this one that shoots, and it shoots to the second one. So here you can see it's just going from one side to front, one to the other side. And later on, there's gonna be more and more of these portals, so there's gonna be more of these projectors to avoid. So let's start dealing some damage. Now he shot this big ball, and this ball is just gonna drop down from the portal, do some damage, and then explode. And this wave is also dealing some damage. And also, here was the frontal ability. I'm gonna talk about it in a second because I missed it. I'm gonna wait until he uses it again. It is also pretty hard to see stuff because my minions are just shooting so many projectiles. So again, here is the ball, and it's gonna drop down, and it's dropping in here. I'm waiting for the lines on the ground because these lines are very dangerous. Okay, so here you could see these 3 lines, and after a second, these 3 lines turned into damage. So you actually, first you see like a small lines, and then you just have 1 second to run out of there, and then it's just gonna deal damage. So let's wait one more time. And this is the, oh, so now you could see the lines. So I just try to explain as many of these abilities as I can because during this fight, during this phase, there is not that much stuff happening yet, so it's easier to explain it. So now let's deal damage to him, and now he reached second phase. So now he's gonna basically disappear and summon some minions. So you have some breeding time. This is a pretty easy phase. So just kill all of them. And now he's back again. And now second phase begins. So you can see much more portals around the arena. And now also on the ground there are gonna be these small areas which are gonna deal damage. Also now he shoots 2 of these orbs from the ceiling, and as you could see I did jump into the AoE, and you can see this deals physical, lightning, cold and erosion, so every type of damage. So I'm gonna summon my minions again. Here you can see the orb, it's entering the portal, and 2 of them are dropping down and they deal damage and spawn the wave. Now I'm waiting for these AoE. So here you could see there are these small ones. Also for the lines there is a new pattern, basically kind of like a 3 lines as a cone. Now I'm waiting again for the small AoE. So here you can see they actually have very short time before they detonate, so you have to be fast to move out of them. But actually they don't deal too much damage. I actually think I can survive one of them, so let me actually move into it. Okay, so you could see I actually survived it, but 2 I already died. And also again you can see it deals every type of damage. So now let me go to the third phase, because that's basically everything for this phase. But you can clearly see there's already much more stuff just happening everywhere, and it's very hard to avoid it. Also now he's channeling these into these portals, and what it does is basically these lasers are gonna appear behind you, and they are just gonna deal damage to you. So when he's channeling into the portal, just move around to make sure you're gonna avoid all of the lasers. I'm actually gonna wait so he does it one more time. And you clearly also see, even before he reaches the next phase, he already spawns more of these things on the ground, so arena is already pretty cluttered. Still waiting for the lasers. Okay, he's doing it, so he's channeling into the portal, and now the lasers appear behind me, so I just have to move around. And that's basically it. So let's reach the last phase. So again, you're gonna have to fight some of the adds. But now there are also the circles on the ground, so you have to avoid them too. And now finally the last phase. So in this phase he basically does the same abilities, but all of them are just harder. You can see clearly there is more portals, there is more stuff on the ground. He still summons 2 of these orbs, so 2 waves. But the main difference is that now the ability where he channels into the portal is gonna summon much harder hitting lasers. Also, now you could see the third pattern. So here you can see these lasers are kind of just hitting one spot, all of them. So when they hit you, you're basically just gonna die. So you could see one more pattern with his lines ability, kind of like a cross pattern. So this pattern is definitely the hardest to avoid, because it's pretty much just hard to predict when he's gonna do it. Okay, so here you could see the cross pattern. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff just happening on the ground, and you just have to run around everywhere trying to avoid as much stuff as you can. And definitely playing the spider minions doesn't help, because it's harder to just see stuff on the ground. So now I'm just gonna kill him, and that's basically gonna be it. In terms of the defenses, I actually recommend having around 4000 life if you are gonna be fighting these bosses, because from what I noticed, all of the hard to avoid, like a small abilities, deal around 2 to 3000 life. So with 4000 life, you're gonna survive them if you have a capti or resists. And the one-shot abilities that deal like 6,000-7,000 amount of damage, you're gonna die to them anyway, even if you're gonna have like 4.5, 5k. So 4k life is actually pretty good. But yeah, these are basically all of the mechanics that these bosses are doing. I hope they will help you. Definitely, when you are fighting these bosses for the first time, you're not gonna just straight up burst through them, kill them before they kill you. So knowing all of the abilities can definitely help. But eventually, if you're just gonna have a ton of DPS, you're just gonna kill them before they do anything to you, or you're just gonna die maybe 2-3 times, and you always have like 6 attempts. So it's not gonna be too hard if you just have a ton of DPS. So that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.